Hello and welcome to another one of our weather videos. But today we're looking at three hurricanes at the same time as a severe weather system pushes its way through with major heat. But first, looking at our first Atlantic hurricane, it's probably going to form by June 7th, which is next Saturday, as it then becomes a Category 1 going over Cuba and then hits Florida as a major hurricane almost following the same track as Milton, it looks like. And then it goes off the coast and either hits the coast once again, like Debbie did, or it's just going to keep its track off the coast. But then going into the Pacific, it's really chaotic with Alvin now a post tropical cyclone, which means it's really weak right now and it's going to go over Mexico, be a few rain showers, and then once it hits the US, it's just going to allow for some storms to develop. But then looking at our next hurricane, it is very undetermined on where it's going to go because it could end up all the way over here in Hawaii or it could go all the way to San Francisco, but it's most likely going to follow a similar path to Alvin and go up the Mexican coast and eventually move into the San Diego area. Today, looking at the heat index, you can see that's currently major, with us probably having really bad overheating over here in the west and a bit down here in southern Florida. But then it gets even worse by Thursday with it going extreme in Texas, where if you're out there for just 15 minutes, you're at a risk of heat stroke and major sunburn. So make sure to spend your day in the AC in Texas on Thursday. And then it's just chaos across the East Coast as we finally warm up. This correlates with the high temperature map very well, where over here in the Mojave Desert, if you're anywhere around there, make sure to stay inside because it's going to be 105 degrees and potentially above. But then we can't have it good for everyone because the moment the West Coast kind of cools down, it gets really hot over here on the East Coast, with it getting up into the 90s in New England and up into 110 degrees in Texas. The rain is super bad down here in Florida with up to 7 inches of rain, and it's the same pretty much everywhere with up to 5 inches of rain throughout the central US and northeast, where we'll probably have flooding in all these areas. But looking at the Storm Prediction Center, we are currently looking at possible tornadoes in the central US with just the risk of hail all throughout here. And the same goes for it tomorrow in these small pockets of hail and tornadoes in Texas. And the tornadoes become pretty bad in the central US by Monday, and it just doesn't quit. Where in 4 days from now, by Tuesday, it's going to probably be really bad, joining forces with that low pressure and moisture from the hurricane, bringing all of this area likely into high risk of storms and everything. Finally, looking at the radar, you can see that we currently have a nor'easter just chilling off the coast of New England, as we have pretty much nice weather in the central US, but that is very short lived, with a low pressure system quickly kicking off by Monday, bringing in all these storms to the central US. Once it combines with the hurricane remains, though, it becomes really bad, forming this really big squall line by Tuesday. And it just moves through the US pretty fast, bringing in lots and lots of storms, especially on Thursday. It's going to be really bad in Texas, where Texas just pretty much never gets a break because lately all that's happened is either the temperatures are really hot or they're getting really bad storms. Like, when will they get a break? But then it just continues moving out. Then, eventually skipping ahead all the way to Sunday, we have this hurricane coming right here that most of the models are agreeing on will come through, but still too early for the National Hurricane Prediction Center, where it's looking like a really bad hurricane when it hits.